Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we are looking at two different pedals to try achieve the same thing. So we've got the Fortin 33 pedal here, which is a boost with a certain type of EQ characteristics to it. And someone left in the comments asking if a 10-band EQ can get close to it. I don't believe it can do the same, but in this video I'll hook this up to my orange dark terror here, and I'll put this on camera and we'll quickly dial it in together and see if we can get close-ish to the 33 running through the dark terror with the Joyo 10-band EQ. Now I've got everything set up, plugged in, ready to go. Let me grab my guitar here. And this is the sound that I've got, so just the distortion coming through the orange dark terror there. So, not that crash hot, but let's make it crash hot. So, how I normally like to have the 33 is set about there, so let's leave it there. So here is our kind of our guideline that we're going for. So that's what we're going to try go for. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more volume. Let me just have one last quick reference. All right, let's see if we can get that. So the first thing we need to do is clean up that bottom end, because there's a lot, which is not a bad bottom richness that tone's got, but that's not what we want to emulate the 30, don't really use the term emulate it, but come close to it. So first, we give it some volume. So I'll start on neutral for now, because I know this has a boost in it, but we need to start somewhere. So let's drop these fully. Yeah, it's about right-ish. Bring this down. I think we might need a little bit of that. Let me just boost it up to see what. It's not too bad there. Now I want to start climbing, because now I'm starting to get the frequencies that are pretty cool. So I'll put that on neutral, so in the middle. Now I've already got it kind of set to climbing here, because that's how I normally like to use it. So let's keep climbing it for now and see if we need to fiddle with it in a moment. So I don't need about the 16. So I think I recall seeing somewhere that they like to cut that out to really help make sure it doesn't get too hissy in those top ends. I don't think it's sacrificing that much. Yeah, it's got that, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can definitely hear it. There's a lot of hiss coming through. Where you take it down, it just gets rid of it. You do lose a little bit there, but let's see if it's going to be enough of a loss where we can live with it, or if we need to bring some of it back and find a nice balance there. Let's see if we can just tweak this just a bit. So I know the 33, I don't know actually. From what I remember, I think it's got a 22 dB boost to it to really help push it and to give that the characteristics that we love when we actually use it. Where this only has a 12. Definitely made a huge difference when I started pushing the whole EQ volume through the orange dark terror here. I don't know how close I am. So let me just do a quick A-B comparison and let's see then if we need to... actually, firstly, let's just do a straight 10 band to no 10 band EQ to see how much, if you did just own one of these, how much of a jump and a leap it is by doing an EQ extreme. And that's definitely an extreme EQ, what we've dialed in there sounds like. So that by itself is popping pretty hard. I like it. So now the 33. Stuffed up that lick. Stuffed it up again. There it is. There's definitely a difference there. I think there's too much bottom end coming through the 10 band still. think there's something slightly different in this area, the high end. I wonder if it is Is it the 16K I took out? Have I screwed myself over here? Let's find out. Definitely helped shaped it more, bringing that 16K back in a bit. I still feel like I'm missing something there, and I don't know what it is. And I'm trying my best not to bring up the EQ graph on the screen to do a straight comparison, to really see where the frequencies are. Because I really want to just use my ears to see how close I could get them. But whether you think it's extremely close or extremely not, I absolutely believe that this is improved just by having this. Yeah, it really helps bring it to life. Yeah, interesting. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of a step away from the camera, set up a little tune to jam along to, just so we can hear it in a band situation, adding drums and bass, to hear how the guitars are going to affect with either setup that we've got running. So I'll run one with the 33, one with the 10 band, and one without it. So we've got a nice A, B, and C comparison. And then we'll meet up on the other side for a quick chat on this little quick thing that I put together, trying to match them up without investing too much time into it and going deep into, or deeper, I should say, with bringing up graphs and all the rest of it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the song, and we'll have a chat about it on the other side. time for some final thoughts on mucking around with a 10-band EQ, trying to get in the same ballpark as the Fortin 33 here. So I just want to point out just a couple of quick differences that I noticed straight off the bat. Was the best way to describe it, I think, is the warmth. There were some warmth characteristics that the 33 had that the Joyo 10-band EQ was lacking. Now I don't know if that warmth was based on I didn't dial in the EQs as best as what I could, that I feel like that's what it was actually lacking, or if it was a case of the volume boost, because I know the 33 goes up to I think 21 or 22 dB boost. Now we're not boosting it all the way because we don't have it cranked, but that might have been a large contributing factor to why they were different. I'm not going to talk about the Dark Terror on its own. I just did that purely as a reference point and a foundation to see where we're actually coming from and going to really give these pedals a chance to shine and do their thing. So definitely nothing against the Dark Terror here, because it wasn't dialed in and utilized to its best capabilities, because the video is not about the Dark Terror. So with the 10-band EQ that we had here, it did give off a little bit of hiss, which I'm definitely not phased about, because I could have easily added a noise killer or a noise suppressor, either a physical one after this or in the box, a digital one, to help clean that up. But I purposely didn't do that because I'm also a big fan with this channel of, this is what it sounds like if you just plug in and play as is. So adding the 16K here, because when I took it out, it sounded a bit cleaner, but it didn't have as much characteristics as a 33 compared to when I put it just above neutral here. But then it did give a little bit of hiss and unwanted noise. I didn't really notice it much in the mix, which is the main thing, because if you don't hear it in the mix, it's fine. That means the problem doesn't exist. It would have been different though if we were using this for a recording session. There was isolated guitar parts without bass or drums absorbing that hiss or that unwanted noise. Then I'd probably need to work around that anyway, and you'd probably want to work around that regardless, because you don't want that stuff there. But for the purpose of this mix, it definitely wasn't an issue at all, because unless you heard it in there, and if you did, brilliant, that's great. But from the little hearing that I did have, the mix down that I did quickly before doing this final thoughts, I didn't really notice it. During editing, I might kick myself because I might hear it during editing. And then in that case, I'm very sorry, Parsley, but you're gonna have to put up with it now because we're recording and we're moving on. But the one thing I want to talk about quickly before finalising this video is, firstly, this is lots of fun. Secondly, a lot easier than what I thought it would be. A YouTube channel called Plague Studio touched base with this, and it was a few years ago. They do some great content, but I can't remember if I don't think they did a full one like what I did, just putting 2 and 2 together, doing a bit of A/B comparison and seeing how it was. I think they were talking about just the Meshuggah sound in general and different ways on how to approach it with EQ pedals post or pre. So in the computer or with pedals. And I think they used a 6-band EQ and a 10-band. And they used a different, I wish I knew which E-band, I wish I could remember which E-band EQ it was. But what I do recall from their 10-band EQ that I do not have is they had a gain attribute to it that this does not, which could be a large contributing factor as well. So with this, without having that gain, I feel like, and if I remember correctly, they concluded this too, but going purely off my experience today with this video, this does fall into the same park as the 33. So if you don't have either the money for this, or you don't have accessibility for this, or for whatever reason, or you prefer to go down a path of getting a 10-band EQ, and you still want to get that type of grind that the 33 can get, you can absolutely come super close with the 10-band EQ. And if you invest more time in it, and probably bring up an I'll get there, I'll absolutely get there, EQ graph on the computer where you can actually see them side by side, I have faith that you'll be able to get a hell of a lot closer compared to what I did in this video here. Some pros and cons. The cons is this has its own characteristics and warmth where you just dial the one dial, you get it, and it's there, super quick, boom. This one, the pros are you can not only get super close to that, if not arguably to that, but then you can shape it a little bit more to whatever you're needing, whether it be to cater for the room that you're in, or if you just want to add your own little bit of flavour based from the foundation of this, because this has 0 alterations. You can turn it up or down. That's it. Where this one, you've obviously got the flexibility to be able to add in whatever minor characteristics you need for it. For example, with the low tuning, I like to, as you can see, shut off a hell of a lot of the low end to near to nothing. Where you might have a song where you want a little bit of that bottom end to resonate, so when you mute, you get that little palm oomph come through. Where you could dial that stuff straight back in. This you can't. You're stuck with what you got. Not a complaint, because I love this and I'm totally fine with that. But as a point of conversation and some food for thought, that is definitely something you can do with something like the 10-band EQ here. So pros and cons are in both ways, but yeah, having a cheap piece of equipment like this, because this cost about, I should have checked up beforehand, but I think it's about 1/5 the price of the 33 here. So a very large difference in actual cost. And I'm also a big fan of try to get the best of what you can with what you got and what you can afford. So if this is something that is only in your price range, I think it's exciting and really cool to know that you can come close. If not, you might be able to come up with something even better, because you can get something more unique and more you to what you want with what you can dial in compared to the 33. But definitely keen on what your thoughts are on it. How did you feel on how I dialed it in together? How did you feel about all the bung notes that I played on guitar while I was doing it? And how did you feel just about the, what my main focus is the theory of being able to get your own sound via cheaper equipment, or not just even cheaper equipment, but alternative equipment to get that type of grind and that push and that top aggressive bite in your distortion, which I love doing, and getting something to get from the, I will describe it as bland, because I did dial in a bland tone with the Orange Dark Terror. Not that it is bland, but what I dialed in was bland, to something that was really bitey and gritty and cut through the mix really nicely, and gave a real aggressive attitude to a guitar tone. So I think that's the best way to describe it, to get an aggressive guitar tone with something like this, or even if it is a 6-band EQ or something else that you think can be really cool to give a alternative type of boost than the 33, or whatever family that 33 might belong into as well. So definitely keen for your feedback on what you feel. I think I have time to wrap it up now. This has been lots and lots of fun though. That was great. I didn't think I would be able to get it that quickly within that ballpark. And as I confessed before, and I'm sure you're absolutely intelligent enough and aware enough to know, if you spend more time with this, you could absolutely get a lot closer. So thank you very much for joining me on this conversation and other conversations I've had on this channel as well. I thoroughly enjoy it and really look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.